on, guys. Let me turn on flash. Should be good. Okay, I apologize for what is going on. Something happened. It says orientation locked, so I'm gonna do a vertical orientation instead of a horizontal, so it doesn't do that again. But anyways, today I'm gonna show you my Oliver and Company promotional kit. It is extremely rare, and this is possibly the only one that ever exists to this day. And also I'm doing a live stream because for some reason, whenever I tried to do the video sessions, it took me forever and ever and ever. But anyways, let's get started. So I really apologize. Something happened, but I am doing it again. So let's get started. So November 8th, 1988 is like the date it was shipped or something like that. But I'm gonna show you guys something really neat. So what you see here is the top of, whoops, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so what you see is the top of the promotional kit box. It's a piano with piano keys on the right hand side, and it says, "Meet the newest member of your sales team. Lift here." It shows Oliver. Hi, I'm Oliver. Open the box and meet the rest of the gang. And then you open this up, and it shows this magical promotional kit box, and it's so awesome. So what you see here, hold on guys, let me disconnect it. So what you see here is like the plot of the movie, which mentions the character names in bold, and beside them would be the voice cast in parentheses. So, so basically it just talks about the plot and the movie. So, and I apologize, this is my first live stream. Well, actually this is my second, because the first time, my first attempt, it was like my orientation's locked. So, I'm doing it vertical instead of horizontal like I did previously. But anyways, on the right bottom side is a how-to trading videotape of Oliver and Company. It's for like promotional purposes. It's from Sears. It talks about like the instructions on how to promote the movie in general. Sorry, that's my cat in the background. Oh, hi, little one. Sorry. If you hear the cat in the background, please ignore it. But anyways, it talks about the promotion of the movie, like the Disney merchandise. Not just Oliver and Company, but other movies as well. And it also talks about McDonald's. The McDonald's tie-in with Oliver and Company, the original Oliver and Company release, and it also shows like Disney staff showing all kinds of products in the Only at Sears merchandise of both Oliver and Company and other Disney stuff as well. So unfortunately, I cannot show this tape yet, but I will. I might at some point, but I'll show you at the bottom. It says it was done in October. I don't know if it's like when it was shipped or when it was like printed or when it was supposed to be received. It says October 1988. It's from Sears, of course. It lasts for 53 minutes and 10 seconds, and it is confidential. It used to be confidential because it's supposed to be only for the people that is working for the promotions of the movie during the original US release. But it's been nearly 37 years ago, and I'm not exactly sure if it's still confidential or not. If it is, I won't show this because I don't want to get in trouble and filed a lawsuit against it. But if I'm allowed to, I can show the videotape. If not, whatever. But what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to think here. So basically, I do not have. I do have a VHS player, but I do not have something to record on and a program to like digitally record it and then upload it to YouTube. So sorry about that, guys. I don't do that kind of stuff. If I do, I could, but also the main problem is that if it says confidential, I could get in trouble for showing that kind of stuff to you. But like I said, what I'm mentioning about is just what I did get to see the videotape once, and it's just talking about like the marketability and the promotional stuff for Oliver and Company, the original release, and the Disney merchandise and Sears as well as the McDonald's Happy Meal toys. And I forgot to mention, it also talks about, it also shows a sneak peek for Oliver and Company. Because of course it says 1088, which is right before Oliver and Company came out on November 18th, 1988. And it also, and if I remember correctly, it also talks about the National Creative Display Contest, which is for the people that set up the Oliver and Company Sears merchandise at the time, and like whoever wins gets a vacation, $500, as well as, hold on, and if they're like eligible for let me see what it says, for the, if they're like a monthly winner, they can also like receive a trophy for National Visual Merchant of the Year, which is really neat. But anyways, let's move on. I've been talking about this a lot, so let's move on. So at the bottom left, there is a promotional presentation supplement handbook for Oliver and Company for the Only at Sears merchandise. And I'm gonna just turn the pages. So the first page is talking about marketing strategies. I'm not gonna read them all, but they're talking about the overview for the Oliver and Company Only Sears merchandise, and how it's gonna like affect the marketability at the time. Even though Oliver and Company is not as successful as like The Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast and stuff, but at the time, Oliver and Company used to be the most popular Disney movie at the time, in box office wise, up until The Little Mermaid, which of course overshadows like everything and started the Disney Renaissance. But most people refer Oliver and Company as like the last Disney movie in the Bronze Age before, or Dark Age, like depending on the age they're referring to, before Mermaid, which of course started the Disney Renaissance. And I believe that I believe what they mentioned in the Sears videotape is that they're doing The Little Mermaid like later on for Sears and merchandise in it. But yeah, so they're talking about the marketing strategies, and so and the installation date for the promotional merchandising for Sears is October 15th through November 1st, 1988. So from October 15th through November 1st, they're just setting up the Sears merchandising inside of any of the Sears stores out there at the time. And then they're also talking about advertising and promotional support. They're talking about the advertising schedule, including the 30-second, 50-second TV spots. You see them on YouTube, guys. It started on November 19th, which is a day after the movie came out in theaters in the United States, through December 11th. Look at Tito, it's so cute. And additional retail support, as well as catalog advertising. Which includes, of course, the catalog Oliver and Company display in 3,400 locations, which is to be said at the time. And of course, we have the product list. The advertising, it's just basically talking about what it's included in like any of the advertising stuff. But they have, they of course have the clothes for Oliver and Company, They have like pajamas and fleece sets and um, plush toys and books and skateboards and jewelry, including pins, barrettes, and like a charm bracelet. They have shoes, slippers, backpacks, trunk, Oliver trunk. Oh, sorry, Oliver trunk. Um, Novelty nightwear and home fashions and stuff, and totes and I already talked about skateboards. They have Oliver book. I think there's only one book. My apologies. They have banks, lamps, cuddle rugs, bath sheets, pillows, bed sheets, and a Saint Oliver ornament. And next up, we have the signing that was supposed to be in Sears stores, which is just talking about details of like the signs and stuff. And then there's also the floor plan, which the Oliver and Company merchandise is supposed to be in the main aisle of the Sears stores. And turn the page. And here comes the exciting part. So this is not the exciting part yet, but it's just basically the character's artwork, and it just describes the personality traits and stuff like that of Dodger, Oliver, Rita, Einstein, Francis, Tito, and Georgette. And here comes the exciting part. The artwork for the setup of what it's supposed to be to look like in Sears stores. Yahoo! Look at that. Plush toys for Dodger and Oliver, and the pajama sets and clothes and the t-shirts. Oh my god, it's so cool. And I think they're all like children's and toddler sizes, and look at that. This is actually some really cool stuff. But yeah, and here's the end of it. And then so the jewelry, what the jewelry aisle is supposed to look like in Sears stores at the time. They also have an Oliver watch analog. Sorry if it's lagging. I don't know what's going on, but it's a live stream. But anyways, they have some really cool stuff, and they put out a Dodger and Oliver plush toys on the top. And then they are showing what each section's supposed to look like the skate plush toys, again plush, toys, games, books. Turn the page. Fleece sets, another fleece sets, sweats and jumpsuits, and all of her sleepers and pajamas, all of her home fashions. Look at that. Oh my god, it looks so cool. Again, all of her home fashions. There's like two of them. There's like many of them. All of her shoes, including slippers, and an Oliver trunk. And of course, the National Creative Display Contest. I have already talked about it before, but it's just basically for the people that are working for the promotions of the movie, specifically for the people that are doing the setups for the merchandise of Oliver and Company and Sears. So they're like doing a contest for which one is the most creative and the best at the visuals for the marketability for the setups for Sears and Oliver and Company to make the kids feel joyful and a lot of stuff like that. Let me charge it real quick because I know my phone's dead, but my charger's right beside me, so no problem. Anyways, there is like instructions on how to do it, like supplements, display ideas. Of course, display ideas is what makes it so exciting. Great merchandise, like how many merchandise and how cool it looks like, and the graphic support, which is basically how creative and how awesome looking it is. And it's for the month of November 1988. So this is for the people that are working with the promotions, and specifically for the people that are setting up for Sears. But it says at the end, remember, this is your display contest for November. All monthly winners will also become eligible for the National Visual Merchant of the Year trophy. A week's vacation for you and your family, complete with $500 spending money. That's some really cool prizes. Oh my gosh. And then last but not least, it says, so put together your best Oliver and Company presentation and submit your 35mm photos to the Regional Visual Merchandise Manager by December 1st, 1988. So this is basically the deadline. So the judging guidelines are basically marketability, creativity, quality, and composition. So I believe, I don't know who the winner is. I don't know exactly who the winner is. There's no like information on who the winner is. But the winner gets some really cool prizes, and I'm these are some really cool prizes. But anyways, the last here's the back. It's just basically local promotion activities. Talking about like ideas for how to entertain a lot of things, a lot of stuff for specifically for Oliver and Company to market the movie and increase sales for the movie and also increase the attendance for the movie. One of them says sponsor a movie pet lookalike contest. That's pretty cute. If you have any stories about like how the local promotional activities went, please let me know in the comments below if you have ever worked in Sears and done these things before. But now let's move on. So the next one, oh, I'm gonna do that later, but it's actually an extra large poster of the Sears poster of the theatrical 1988 poster of Oliver and Company, which it is basically the ones that you receive at the store if you bought like the Oliver and Company merchandise in Sears back when there's merchandise during the marketability of the movie in 1988. So I'll show it to you later on. We'll save it for last because I need to charge my phone. And next up is this large handbook of a how-to manual for turning Disney magic into extra sales, Oliver and Company. So the first page is basically a note from D.E. Morris, Vice President Vice President of Marketing Sears Merchandise Group, which is basically at the time. Wait a minute. Do I have a charge? I hope so. Sorry about that, guys. Why is it not charging? Oh wait, it needs to be in the right way. Sorry guys. I don't know what's going on here, but let me see if it's, why is it not charging? Hello, but anyways, sadly I have to end it. Sadly I have to end this live stream. I will make a part 2 on this. I need to charge my phone right now. So I'll be right back. I'll do a part 2 later on.